Welcome to Out of the Ordinary with Jay. I am with Troy, the truck driver,
Yep.
and we're going to talk all about truck driving.
Sounds like fun.
Okay, so first of all, what's it like being a truck driver? Or well, before we go there, how about tell them who you work for and how long you work, stuff like that.
I work for UPS, been with them for 31 years. Took me
Wow.
18 years there to get into the trucking part. Took me 6.5 years part-time. Took me another 12 years of package car. And then I've been doing this for 13, I believe.
Wow.
And it's been amazing, but
And when you say truck driving, you're talking about the long
the
haul,
semis,
big rig,
the
what
semis.
people think of when they this
Yes.
thing.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, you've been doing it a long, long time.
Yeah.
So, what is it like being a truck driver?
It's awesome. I mean, and
What do
it
you-
depends on the person because,
Well, why do you think it's awesome for you?
well,
Okay.
I can explain that.
Okay,
but
let's do it.
Because it's not for everyone. Because one, you got to be able to sit for a long time. But for me, I can talk to anybody. I can listen to programs. I can listen to my Bible or whatever. Because you're going to be driving for about 11 hours. 11 hours is the most you can drive. You're going to get about 700 miles in. Then you're going to go, because I do team driving. You go right to the back, and then you're going to be what do you call it? You'll be in the berth for about 11, 12 hours. You're going to sleep, get up, do it again.
So you
What?
would you say that truck driving prior to having cell phone use would have been harder? Well, I guess
Would-
they had CBs, didn't they?
They had CBs, but who's out there? Can you talk to someone?
Yeah.
So CBs is something.
Not the same as being able
and-
to call into your mom or
And then the
whatever.
radio stations, what radio stations? And you had dead zones. Did you have an 8-track, something to listen to? So no, today it's much easier.
Do you ever have dead zones where you can't talk to anybody?
Yes.
You do.
There are certain zones where you're just going to get cut off.
So
It's
you'd be
not as bad
talking
now.
to somebody and then all of a sudden call just drops.
Dome Rock, mile mark 11. You pretty much lose the call almost every time there. Right around where Interstate 10 and 20 are, real rough reception around there. There's certain sections, if I give a call, they might hear some things. It goes in and out. Certain
Gotcha.
areas, and you just know, hey, at this point, I'm not going to make a call.
What is the current truck driving route that you do, or do you have multiple routes, or what do you do?
Right now, I start out of Goodyear,
Arizona.
Arizona,
Okay.
which is a suburb of Phoenix, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
We go to Jacksonville, Florida.
Whoa, that's the whole other side of the country.
Yeah, and it
That's
depends.
the whole other side.
And like this week, because of the hurricane, we took Interstate 20 to bypass it.
Wow.
So it added 40 more miles, so it made it 2,100 and something miles. And then we go up to Lenexa, Kansas. From Lenexa, Kansas, we come back to Goodyear.
Sweet. So from hurricanes to tornadoes, you're living
Yeah.
very dangerously.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I've almost been in a couple tornadoes.
Oh,
I've had the
wow.
warning, then
Oh, my
fortunately none
gosh.
have touched down. So,
Wow. Crazy.
and then from Goodyear we go to El Paso, Texas, and then over to Granda Vista, which is the west side of Los Angeles, and then we come back to Goodyear and we're done. We start Tuesday at 5:59 in the morning,
Whoa.
and then we get done sometime on Saturday evening. So
Wow. By the way, I don't know if you can see behind us, but we're talking to Troy the trucker sitting in the back of his truck. So I just thought that would be fitting. I know it's nighttime and this is hard to see, but anyways, so who would you recommend people get into truck driving as a profession?
I would, just because once you get your license,
You
Well,
mean
I
the
say-
you mean the CDL?
the CDL license, and you can get that for not much. You're in demand. You like UPS, we're hiring more this year. We've actually hired, last year was the first time we hired some straight off the street, which has never happened.
Wow. So
So-
they're really desperate.
So Ron actually, I have a hard time with his last name, but
That's all right.
he came in. He was 30 years with Yellow Freight, got right into UPS. I'm like, wait, day one your feeder.
Wow.
It took me 18 years to get there.
Wow.
But,
Now does
but the pay, even at like some of the lower trucking companies, because we do get paid really well.
that's what I was going to ask. Is
And our
is
pay
about
is-
the pay?
Our pay is way up there, but you have other companies, you're gonna make 80,000.
So if I'm a brand new truck driver,
Yeah.
I don't have any education other than my high school, let's say.
Yeah.
I graduated high school, never been to college. I go and get this CDL, commercial driver's license,
Yeah.
which was a couple $100 probably.
If you're gonna have to have once you get up through the DOT, then you're gonna get, generally you'll have like 2,000 for like a class. It'll be a couple
Oh, so it's
months.
a little bit of money.
It's a little bit, but like if you go to Swift or Knight, they'll actually train you, and they actually,
Will they pay for the CDL?
yes and no, because the thing is they're gonna pay for it all up front. Now you have to work for them for 1 year, and they're going to take that money right
Oh,
back
that's
out.
okay.
They're going to take the money back out, but then at the end of a year is a bonus. They give you the money back.
Right. So if
So
I'm,
they do pay for it.
so if I'm hearing you correctly, I could be a fresh high school graduate, 18 years old, right? I could.
No.
No.
Got to be 21 to be a trucker right
Oh,
now.
so you got to be 21.
Because you have to have 5 years of safe driving.
Okay. So you have to go. Oh, so you have to prove 5 years of safe
driving.
Okay, but still, even then, I don't have to go to college
No.
or any of that, and I can come out and I can start making 80 grand.
You could, yeah.
Wow.
And some of the,
And
like I say,
probably with benefits too, huh?
well, like I say, I got, and it depends.
Well, I know
like
you
I
have
say,
good benefits
it
at
depends.
UPS.
Most companies, it depends. It's all different on how many weeks vacation or how they do. But like a lot of your team drivers, you're going to be 80,000, 100,000 probably,
So what do you think, in your opinion,
and you're going to be in
Because-
demand.
for sure? Well, you could work anywhere in the United States.
Yeah.
You know, like I have another friend of mine who lived here. He moved to Oklahoma. He's like, I'll make this my base. Homes are cheaper. I'll live
Yeah.
there. So now so he gave himself a big raise by becoming a trucker, but then also his cost of living went down, so
Yeah.
he benefited twice.
Yeah.
So who would you say would make a good trucker? Pretending I'm 21 years old or some 21-year-olds watching this video, and they're like, hey, maybe I want to get into trucking. Well, who would you say would be a good candidate?
It depends on it's just your mentality. I mean, if you can actually, there's some people who probably wouldn't because I gotta do something. And as far as that is, I mean,
Like a busybody and they're trapped in a truck type of thing?
that type of a thing, or like some people, like we got some guys who are still like in shape and big because when they stop to take their breaks, they'll go 5 hours. They're gonna stop. They're gonna do on their half hour. They're getting their push-ups in. They're doing the
Oh, they're
body
doing a
squats.
workout.
They'll have their dumbbells with them,
Right.
and they will make sure they get their workout in, and they still are.
I gotcha.
And so some will go to, or they'll say, hey, I can stop at this rest area and they have benches here. I'm going to get a workout in. I'll go on the
Makes
bench.
sense.
I'll do my sit-ups. I can do whatever. So, but it just depends. I mean, so long as you can sit and drive, like I say, and a lot of it is, then when you get in the back, if you do team driving, it is. If you just do the day cabs where you're going to go maybe just do in-town pickups and it's going to be an 11, 12-hour day, you still have the evening to do what you want. So it just depends on the type of person. But
Okay.
anyone could do it. It's just, a lot of people have a misconception of, well, I can't drive for long periods. Well, take an in-town run and do pickups, and then you're in and out of the
Yeah.
truck. So it depends.
Yeah,
So,
probably not everybody could be a road warrior, but boy, it sounds like a pretty good career for those that could.
yeah. And the thing I love, we got guys in their 70s still doing it. Why?
Well, you can.
Because it's easy.
Right.
It's not hard.
Right.
And,
You're not. There's
there-
not a lifting requirement.
No, and there is
Right.
a lot of stress. You got to make sure the truck's okay, and you're always pre-tripping the trailer, and you want to make sure your equipment's good because things go wrong.
Well, speaking of stress too, I was thinking like a flat tire or bad snow or a weird weather. I mean, you got to deal with
you get
all
a lot
that,
of
right?
bad weather. Oh, I've been in really like where you can't even see the road, and you're like, okay, I think the road's here. Literally, I mean,
Ooh,
it's
that'd be
just snow
scary.
covered. There are literally no tracks, and you're driving, going, I can see the things on the side. Okay, there's still the
Yeah.
road.
And all of us normal people in the cars are behind you, like we're following that guy.
Yeah.
Please go the right direction.
Yeah, but
Wow.
that you could, like I say, it's just one of those things. So you do got your stressful things,
Yeah.
but for the most part, once you've done it for a while, you've seen everything. You're like, okay, whatever.
I've been through this before or whatever,
Yeah.
right? What would you say is the best part of being a truck driver? What's the favorite thing you like?
Just the fact that it's so easy on my body.
Yeah.
Because when I did package car and just even the part-time, my knees and back, they were killing me.
But this
And
is
now
okay.
I just sit. So,
Yeah.
and then now I just got to try to get my exercise in.
I always thought it would be kind of cool. Like, I don't think I could ever do your job, but I always thought it would be cool to be like, I don't know, kind of like feel free and be like on the open road. You know what
Oh,
I
it
mean?
is.
Like
I've
see
seen-
all the scenery. And,
Well, and the best part is, like, I've seen so much of the country.
yeah.
I mean,
And
so
got
much,
paid to do it.
And like Pittsburgh, I always figured, oh, there's still steel mills and oil rigs everywhere, and it's going to be just industry. Nah, it's green and beautiful.
Where's this?
Pittsburgh?
Oh.
Yeah, and like I say, the whole Pennsylvania, beautiful. Parts of New York that I didn't know it was that woodsy, or
Yeah.
Connecticut, going over some of the rivers, you're like, oh my God, you see the houses, or like State Route 59, they got all these small towns, you're like, I would like to come visit here. And you see all these beautiful areas.
By the way, I don't know if you experienced the same thing that I did because you were in a truck. but when I went into Pittsburgh, I did this less than a year ago, but for the first time, it's like I came in at night and I'm going and I don't see a city, I don't see a city, I don't see a city, and then you go like underneath this like underpass thing or whatever, and all of a sudden you come out the other side, this tunnel, boom, there's a city.
Yeah.
Like it's a trip.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's
Or
super
like,
cool.
Or like even Chicago, like I've been in the city,
Yeah.
but then all around it's green. I'm like, okay, yeah, you got the city, but all around it's this greenery, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and you see
Yeah.
so many things, and I'm like, okay, I've seen like, other than the state of Washington,
Yeah.
I have Maine,
Yeah.
New Hampshire, and I think I've been through Rhode Island. I got to recheck on which ways we've gone, but those are the only states I've not drove through in the 48.
That's pretty cool. I was thinking you get paid to do this, but I was thinking of something else that's kind of like a benefit is like, you know, because like we hear stuff like on the news all the time, like, oh, you know, this town is burning up, or this town, this town. You get to actually drive through them, and you know what they're really like. You're there. You're going through places. You
and
get
it's
to see stuff.
And it's kind of like,
I mean,
and
you have
I love
real
it because
knowledge.
going through El Paso, I found the 375 going south. You literally, if I mean, you can almost touch the border wall.
You mean
I'm
the
like,
Mecca of Mexico?
yeah. Oh, you're
wow.
literally right there. You can see it, and you can see, hey, watch out for pedestrians, people cross. And I'm like, you can see what's
What?
going on. You literally see it, and you're like, you can look at Mexico. I'm like, oh, those are all different colored houses. I would not want to live there, but that looks cool.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so
you're
literally,
that close.
You're that close. Literally, here's the wall. There's a little shoulder, and the fence is literally right there.
That's wild.
And it's really cool.
That's kind of cool. Not many people could say that. So
yeah, and so there's all kinds of little fun things, or just different things that you've seen. And you're like, would not have known about this.
So those are some of the good things. What is like the worst part about driving, or what are some of the things that really are just rough, or that you don't like?
Well, sometimes, and it is frustrating at times. Kind of like I had a concert I was going to go see, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to get back. Well, we're coming back, and then all of a sudden, the trucks just start shutting down. I'm in a construction zone, and it's down to one lane. There is no shoulder.
You're missing the
Just stop.
concert.
Well, and I start pulling over, and literally, there's enough room for barely a semi to get through. And the one semi took 10 minutes to go through. I had to call for a tow truck. I'm stuck on the shoulder. There's nothing I can do. Truck won't do anything. They had to pull. They pulled us. Finally, an hour and a half later, a tow truck comes there. They pull us off to get another tow truck. Then we had to take all our stuff out of one truck, put into another truck to drive back. Then we had some flats. We had to wait for that. And by the time we got back like 12 hours later. Now we're paid for it.
Yeah, but still, you're missing.
But now
what
we're 12 hours
missing
later.
out on something you
And I
planned.
looked out, I said, if I don't sleep, I can go up and watch a concert, come back, and I'll have been up for
Yeah.
36. And I'm like, no,
No.
that's not going to be fun. And it was the Harp Twins. I really wanted to see them, but
Do you ever have a situation where like normal drivers, like, you know, you're driving too slow and it's like a one lane up a hill, and they're like, move it, buddy, move it. You ever get some of that?
no, the only time I do, I've gotten some things.
Because you can only go so fast up a hill
Well,
carrying a
and
big
so-
old load.
And sometimes
You know what I mean?
you slow down. And there's times where other people, and sometimes it's cars, sometimes it's other semis, it just happens. You'll go to pass someone, and they will trap you in the passing lane, because there'll be two lanes, and they will just trap you there. And you start going up a hill, you'll go slow,
kinda
they'll go
stuck.
slow with you, and you're like,
What are you doing? You're stuck.
you're stuck. And so sometimes that will happen. But on the one lanes, generally, I've not had that. But on the two lanes, every once in a while, it's just frustrating when you got someone doing 25 and you'll see someone doing 27 trying to pass. You're like, you know, you're not supposed to do that.
What
And
do
it's
you,
frustrating. But
no, what would you do when you're trying to get?
and then you're like I say, there's times like this last week, or even on this last week, you had another semi did that. He was doing like, the guy was doing like 29, and I got a radar. It tells me how fast these trucks are going. And the other guy's doing 31, and I was doing 50. I had to slow down, and I had to get behind. Now I'm like, and once you're on a hill, you can't gain your speed. You're
Right.
stuck. So
So would you say, this will be the last question, unless you have anything else you want to add to this, but would you say, it's kind of a funny question, but and maybe there's a different answer than what I'm expecting,
okay.
but would you say that truckers like yourself generally are better drivers than Joe Public, than their average Joe?
I would say the older truckers are,
Okay.
because, and especially like the UPS, because we've been trained, and it's not just the training we've had is just amazing. They really teach us, hey, aim high in steering, get the big picture, make sure you know what you're looking. Are you going shoulder to shoulder? What are you looking at? What's your following distance?
Yeah.
And now they actually have the Linux in there. It says, hey, you know, you're only 2 seconds behind this car in front of you. We want you to have a better following distance. They
Oh, wow.
actually,
Wow.
they actually say, I had a training today, and they said, hey, these 4 times you're within 2 seconds of this car, and you're supposed to be getting over. We know you were getting over, but just stay back a little further and then get
Wow.
over.
Okay, so
And-
so
or
they're
they-
making it safe. Who you work for?
Oh yeah, and then plus
Okay.
they go, hey, you were speeding at this point. Watch that. We know it was probably on a downhill. I said, yeah, as soon as it's downhill, I'm slowing up. And they said, okay, you're good.
But there could be some bad truck drivers.
I think a lot of these new kids, and you got a lot of young kids,
Mhm.
and I think that's one of the things you got to watch out for.
But
because,
they wouldn't if they were working for UPS, because UPS would
well,
train them up.
even UPS, because you have a lot of young people. Like if I went in right at 21, being a trucker, I don't know how I would have done. I would have been kind of immature.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
I mean, 21.
I'm
21's
glad.
young.
I am glad I did not get it when I was 21, because how would I have been? I'm glad I'm more mature, so I know, hey, take it easy, get there safely, and that's the main thing.
Right.
But you
Right.
have some people who just want to, because a lot of these truckers are paid mileage. So if you're paid mileage, the sooner you get there, the sooner you get your money. I can start my next one and start making more money.
Right. If you're more of a private type of or whatever contractor or whatever.
But
you can
even me,
work.
I'm mileage.
Right.
So
Right.
the sooner you get there, the sooner you're making money.
Right. I
So-
get that.
Yeah, and so if you have someone who's, hey, the sooner you get there, the more money you make, they're gonna want to go faster.
I'm going to ask you one last question.
Yeah.
It just came to me. Did you ever think of, because I know UPS it's a massive company.
Yeah,
They're the biggest, right?
I would believe
Biggest,
so.
I think so. And then, did you ever, since you had such a long career of this, and by the way, tell them what age you'll be retiring.
Age 55, 3.5 years.
Yeah, you'll be fully retired at 55 with a great pension and a wad of dough. So
Yeah.
it's a good living you can make. But oh shoot, where's it going? Oh, did you ever consider like changing? Like I'm gonna go drive private, or I'm gonna go work for FedEx. Did you ever think of anything like that, or not really?
No,
Because
because
they always treat you good, or pretty
well,
good.
one, UPS treats me good, but then I see what these other companies are paying. I'm like, I don't take the pay cut.
Oh, so
I mean,
UPS pays well.
They pay well, and I looked at some of these others, and I'm like, yeah, that would be like a 30% decrease, and I'm not.
No, why would who would do
I'm
that?
not-
That's just silly.
I couldn't do it.
I got
And
you.
I thought if I'm going to go to another company, why wouldn't I just keep with UPS and keep making what I am and putting more to my pension, make it even more? So it just wouldn't make any sense.
Okay, we'll close this out with this. You maybe already answered it, but I'll ask you to answer it again. Who would you recommend truck driving to as a profession? Who would you say should be a decent candidate for that?
I would say anyone who just wants to see the whole country, and not only that, just anyone who really just has a love for driving.
Right.
If you like driving, because I always love driving.
Right. Yeah, I could see
And like I
that.
say, when I first moved down to Phoenix, I almost went up to Shello every weekend, and I drove that.
right.
that
You
back
were,
and forth
You were
almost every
driving
weekend.
unpaid. Yeah.
But I just love to drive, and
And it pays
it pays
really
good.
well.
And I still like driving a big truck. It's big.
Yeah.
I feel very safe in the truck.
Well, I would say
It's
so.
nice, and like I say, as long as you maintain your vehicle, it's nice, and you feel safe in it. If any, like I've had little people, I don't say little
Yeah,
people, but
yeah.
little cars come up,
Oh, jeez.
and I don't get it. They'll try to like almost go into me like they're scaring me. I'm like, I don't move because
You're
what
crazy.
are you doing? Or they'll get in front of me and
That's a
brake
little
check me, and I'm like, what are you doing?
That's
You
just crazy.
realize I'll
You-
be fine. You will die.
Yeah, that's just
It
crazy.
makes no sense
Yeah,
what
that-
some people do. Like,
people are weird.
I'm going to scare the trucker.
Not really.
I'm not scared.
Even a
You-
little, yeah.
and some people do it.
Yeah, when you're in those big old trucks, you're king of the road,
Yeah,
period.
and I know some people don't like UPS, so I know that's what some people do and some
Uh,
other truckers. But for the most part, we all get along, and we all,
Gotcha.
you
Yeah.
try to help another trucker. Hey, you'll flash your lights. Hey, it's time to get in. You do your 4 ways on when you. Hey, thanks for letting me in.
Yeah.
You do all that, but you got some that just they want to mess with you.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That made me think of one more thing. Sorry, I keep adding one more thing to this, but you've told. Tell me about the gas stations and the showers and the points and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like that's kind of what is that about?
well, what I love is, like I
'Cause-
say, when you get to the fuel,
Because on the road you have to shower and you
Yeah.
sleep in your vehicle, right? I mean,
yeah, you'll sleep in the vehicle. Like, because I do the team driving. Now, if you're doing local, you get to go home every day.
Oh yeah.
But on team driving, like I say, as soon as you stop driving, you'll swap over. And generally, like when we get to Jacksonville, we'll go over to the Pilot right there. They have nice big showers, are clean.
hmm
and that's so long as we have the time.
Right.
But then once we do that, you're getting the we have our points for it, so that's what we use our fuel card for. So when
Right.
we get our points, free showers. That makes it nice. And then and the nice part about that is you can get it, but and if we have a trailer ready to go, we want to hurry and get to the next stop to get paid. So sometimes you got to skip it, and then hey, when we get to this spot, I'm going to take a break. We'll go take a shower there.
What are these points or these incentives that these truck stops give you?
Well, basically, a lot of them it's a point. You get 1 point per gallon, or and if you do a 50 to a 70, I think Love's is a 50-gallon fuel and Pilot's a 75-gallon fuel. As long as you get that many gallons, you get a free shower. So
Okay. And do you get any? What can you use the points for?
anything in the store except for tobacco and alcohol.
So you've bought what? Food, gifts. Whatever?
GPSs, windshield wipers, anything for the truck.
Oh yeah, I've seen sometimes when I've just as a normal person when I've gone into the used restaurant, they'll have like ads up there and they'll show like really cool stuff you can
Yeah.
buy, like
Yeah.
computer stuff and
Yeah.
things.
And
Okay.
a lot of times, sometimes, like I say, because if you have the points card, hey, we're giving away free Monster or Rock. Like this month is 1 free Monster, 1 free Rockstar.
Okay.
I think each week for this month or whatever, just as an appreciation for truckers. So you get 1 free 1.
Very cool.
Okay. But no, they come in handy because, like I say, if you need to get a shower, and like I say, we got like 20 shower credits on our card. So, you know, if you need a shower, you get a shower. So,
Very
and
cool.
whoever's doing the nights, since they're taking a break, they don't have to do any fuels.
Right.
Every time they can say, hey, I'm showering on break.
Right.
You got to take 31 minutes off, so might as well.
Well, if there are if there's any truckers out there that can commiserate with Trucker Troy here that wants to comment, please feel free to. If there's any aspiring wannabe truckers, if you've got any question or anything, I happen to know this guy, so I can do a follow-up video and answer any questions. And thanks for your time, Troy.
No problem, Jason.